Hello everybody. My name is Nicole Rondon. I passed out a picture that was given out at the beginning of the presentation. Thank you. I'm a member of the class of 2018 at Smith College, where I double major in psychology and French studies, and I began studying French at Smith College 4 years ago. So to give you some background about me, I grew up speaking English and Spanish as my parents immigrated from the Dominican Republic. So I'm glad to be here today at the Building Bridges Between Languages 5 College Student Symposium, because I have been building bridges between two languages my whole life. So today I will be presenting the research I conducted with my Bloomberg Fellowship in France last summer on immigration, entitled Creating Spaces for Immigrant Voices. And so my research objectives were to explore the ways in which immigrants were producing visual culture, to enhance my cultural understanding of immigrant identities in France, and share their stories with others. And I was also interested in trying to understand the ways in which immigrants' efforts were being received by the media, as many artists utilized their works to speak back on the narrative of assimilation and the mainstream culture that France attempts to cast them in. Lastly, I was interested in exploring the ways in which immigrants are using their platforms to influence popular French culture and change the face of what it means to be French, and create a space for others like them who cannot confine to the identity of just Français. So today, I will share with you one of the most significant moments I experienced at an art gallery in Paris, and the picture is what I will be presenting on. So one day, I roamed the streets of Paris and I stumbled upon an art museum showcasing the art exhibit Immigré. The differentiation in the spelling of immigrant caught my eye, as I was accustomed to seeing the word spelled with an I, in efforts to discuss the experience of arriving to a new country. However, it was clear the exhibition's purpose was to emphasize the artist's feelings regarding the experiences of departure from their home country, an experience that is often disregarded and a little unexplored. So as I wandered through the museum, observing every piece of art, I was instantly fascinated by the sculpture of a man carrying two thin suitcases, as it highlighted the effects of transitioning to a new country through simple body language. In the sculpture, though the person is only carrying two suitcases, his posture suggests that they weigh him down. I then read the caption for the sculpture, and the caption added a metaphoric dimension to the weight the figure carries. Men without luggage or homes have had to lighten themselves and turn their familiar objects into memories, stories, and images. Reading this caption, I could not help but envision that this story began when he left, when he opened his mind to the idea of leaving and did not look back, when he stuck all his favorite photos and objects into a suitcase and headed for France. Initially, I had observed the physical burden of carrying suitcases, but I had not considered the emotional burden of carrying memories, language, and simply pieces of your heritage. The sculpture depicted an invisible baggage, an emotional versus physical burden that weighs us down in different ways. And so it was this caption that struck a chord. As I said earlier, I myself am a first-generation immigrant, as I am the children of immigrants. My parents were born in the Dominican Republic, and as a result, my life has not always followed a typical American trajectory, as I've been influenced by their ideals and their cultural values. Seeing this picture, I could not help but think that my parents may have carried that same burden when they came to America and aimed to create new lives for their family. I instantly thought about the objects in my house that I wasn't quite sure why we had. But this experience in France was very eye-opening, and the sculpture told the story of those before me and the experience of others to come. So today, I cherish this sculpture, as it has helped me understand the complex emotional burden my parents and others immigrating have faced as they build bridges, not only between languages, but between cultures. I was fortunate enough to also speak to the Brazilian artist who sculpted this piece, and he explained that he wanted to illustrate transition in one pose. And I believe he did just that. And since I'm not Brazilian, I was also very glad that I was able to profit from French and another language that I hold very closely to yet again build bridges between languages. And so I will now embark on another wonderful adventure to France, managed by the Centre International des Études Pédagogiques, to join the teaching assistant program in France and hopes to continue enhancing my French skills and help children like me in the suburbs of France to continue creating spaces for our voices in whatever languages they come in.